It was a night like any other in Beverly Hills, California. The grand mansion of the Menendez family stood quiet under the California sky, but what happened inside that house would soon become one of the most notorious crimes in American history. Two sons, Lyle and Erik Menendez, dialed 911, frantically claiming that their parents had been shot. What the police found inside was nothing short of a gruesome bloodbath, but the truth behind the murder of José and Kitty Menendez was even darker than anyone could imagine. Now, Netflix has brought this chilling case back into the spotlight with their new series, Monsters: The Menendez Brothers, and it's captivating viewers in a way that few true crime stories can. As the series dives into the horrifying events of that fateful night, a question lingers: what really drove two brothers to kill the very people who raised them? Was it greed, fear, or something much more sinister? The shocking crime that rocked Beverly Hills. On August 20th, 1989, the bodies of José Menendez, a wealthy entertainment executive, and his wife Kitty were discovered in their home. José had been shot in the back of the head while watching TV, and Kitty was found riddled with bullets as she tried to escape. The crime scene was brutal. Shotgun shells scattered the room, and the bodies were barely recognizable from the violent onslaught. There was no forced entry, no signs of a robbery. The police were initially baffled. The investigation took a shocking turn when the police started to suspect the very people who had called for help: José and Kitty's sons, Lyle and Erik Menendez. At first, the brothers appeared grief-stricken, but over time, cracks began to show. Just days after the murders, they were spotted splurging on luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish vacations. Their behavior seemed far too carefree for two people who had just lost their parents in such a gruesome manner. But it wasn't until Erik Menendez, overcome by guilt, confessed to his psychologist that the brothers had committed the murders that the pieces truly fell into place. The brothers were arrested, and the trial that followed became a media frenzy. A family torn apart by dark secrets. As the trial unfolded, the Menendez brothers shocked the world with their defense. They claimed that the murders were an act of self-preservation, not cold-blooded greed. According to the brothers, their father José had subjected them to years of brutal sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. The abuse was allegedly so horrific that they saw no way out except to kill their parents. The testimony was graphic and gut-wrenching, painting a portrait of a family hiding unimaginable darkness behind the facade of wealth and success. Lyle and Erik detailed years of being manipulated and controlled by their father, while their mother, Kitty, turned a blind eye, descending into her own mental instability. But were these claims of abuse true, or were they a desperate attempt to avoid a murder conviction? The prosecution argued that the brothers killed their parents for money, wanting to inherit their parents' fortune and live a life of luxury without their domineering father standing in the way. After two highly publicized trials, the Menendez brothers were found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Netflix's Monsters: A New Take on a Haunting Crime. Netflix's latest true crime series, Monsters: The Menendez Brothers, takes viewers back to the events of 1989, but doesn't stop at the courtroom drama. The series delves deep into the psychological torment that might have led Lyle and Erik to make such a terrible decision, examining the blurred line between victim and villain. The series doesn't shy away from portraying the graphic and horrific details of the crime, but it also asks viewers to consider the complex dynamics of abuse, manipulation, and power. Critics have praised the series for its ability to humanize both the victims and the perpetrators, making the horror of the crime even more unsettling. While some viewers remain convinced that the Menendez brothers are guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt, others find themselves wondering if there was more to the story, if the brothers truly were pushed to their breaking point by a father who ruled their lives with an iron fist. Viewers have described the show as intense, disturbing, and impossible to look away from. With its dark, atmospheric style and detailed exploration of the crime, the show taps into our deepest fears. What happens when the very people who are supposed to protect you become your worst nightmare? New evidence: could the brothers be released? As if the Netflix series wasn't enough to reignite public interest in the Menendez brothers, recent developments have raised the possibility that Lyle and Erik might not remain behind bars for life. New evidence has come to light that could reopen the case, and some believe it may lead to their release. reports suggest that additional evidence regarding the alleged abuse may have been overlooked during the original trial, and that it could potentially change the brothers' fate. If this evidence is taken seriously by the courts, it could lead to a retrial or even set the brothers free after over 30 years in prison. But this possibility has divided public opinion. Are Lyle and Erik Menendez victims of a broken home and horrific abuse? Or are they simply manipulative criminals who killed for greed? The thin line between truth and horror. The Menendez brothers case is a real-life horror story that continues to haunt us. It's a tale of power, control, and the terrifying possibility that sometimes the people closest to you are capable of unthinkable acts. Whether you believe the brothers' claims of abuse or see them as calculated killers, the story of the Menendez family will leave you questioning how far you would go if pushed to the edge. Netflix's Monsters captures that fear, pulling viewers into the murky waters of family dynamics, trauma, and the ultimate betrayal. With the real-world possibility of new evidence emerging, this story is far from over. If you found this story gripping, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more shocking content, and activate the bell so you never miss an update. And don't forget to check out our previous videos for more true crime stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.